Have you ever stopped to question it, really question it? This feeling that you're in control, that your choices are your own. Are they? Every day you spend countless hours on your phone. Even before you're fully conscious, before your thoughts even wake up, your hand already reaches for it. Messages, TikTok, Instagram. The scroll begins before your day even starts. Maybe after 30 minutes, maybe more, you realize you're almost late for work, for school, for whatever fills your calendar. But even then, you're still plugged in. Phone in hand, headphones on, maybe a podcast, maybe the latest trending video. Your attention already hijacked. But here's the question no one asks. What happens when it all goes quiet? What do you feel in that silence? For most people, it's not peace. It's friction, a strange, crawling unease. And that's when the reflex kicks in. Open another app, find another song, chase another hit. Not because you want to, but because you don't know how not to. See, pleasure isn't the enemy. It's one of our oldest instincts, the brain's way of nudging us toward what helps us survive. But what if that instinct is hijacked? What if the thing that once helped us thrive is now the very thing keeping us numb? That's the question Aldous Huxley asked, decades before smartphones and streaming platforms existed. While Orwell feared a world ruled by force and surveillance, Huxley feared something subtler. A future where no one needs to be forced to obey, because they're too busy being entertained. A future where chains aren't iron, they're soft, addictive, pleasant, where people don't fight their oppression because they enjoy it. Sound familiar? Look around. Really look. What are you seeing? A culture addicted to distraction. A society that flinches at boredom. A world built to soothe every tiny discomfort instantly. But all of this relief, what's the price? Is it freedom or just a prettier kind of prison? That's what we're going to explore today. How comfort is used to condition you. How pleasure, when misused, becomes the leash. And how you might already be deeper in the cage than you think. You think you're the one behind the wheel, don't you? That your thoughts are your own. Your choices yours. Your attention fully under your control. Well, keep watching, because what I will show you in the next couple of minutes will shock you to the core. Because the most dangerous kind of prison is the one that feels like paradise. Picture a world where nobody questions anything, not because they're forbidden, but because they're too entertained to care. Where the pursuit of meaning is traded for a flood of cheap thrills. Where pleasure doesn't feel optional anymore. It feels mandatory. Mandatory like oxygen, like survival, like if you stopped chasing it, you'd collapse. That's the world Huxley painted. Not one filled with suffering, but one drugged into silence. Where discomfort isn't battled, it's erased. Not with courage, not with reflection, but with soma. A perfect little pill that makes pain vanish before it ever teaches you anything. But you don't have to imagine it. You're already living in it. Look around. What do you reach for the moment life feels heavy? When boredom creeps in, when sadness flickers, when restlessness rises in your chest, do you pause and sit with it? Or do you run, chasing the nearest escape route? Another scroll, another snack, a video, a drink, a swipe, a laugh track, a notification. Pixelated high. This is the age of the fast fix, where every shadow of discomfort is drowned in a sea of stimulation. You never need to feel the emptiness, just flood it. Fast, easy, on demand. And the part that should terrify you? It all feels like your choice. No one's locking you in a room and forcing TikToks into your eyes. No one's shouting, "Consume," with a whip in hand. And yet you do. So if it's a choice, why is it so damn hard to stop? Because your mind has been trained. Like a machine taught to respond the same way every time discomfort knocks. You've been taught to run from stillness, to smother silence, to fear the echo of your own thoughts, until one day, without knowing it, you've become exactly what Huxley warned us about. Not a prisoner under chains, but a loyal subject to comfort, a willing participant in your own mental captivity. You didn't sell your freedom, you traded it for convenience. So how did this conditioning begin? And how deep does it go? That's what we're about to uncover next. So why is it so hard to stop? You know you've got things to do, a task, a goal, something meaningful, and yet your thumb moves before your mind does. Unlock, swipe, refresh. You're not even bored yet, but your brain's already begging for something new. Another ping, another post, another hit of dopamine. This isn't random. See, let me tell you a secret. From the time you were small, discomfort was treated like a flaw. Don't feel it, fix it. Don't think too hard, just follow the steps. School didn't teach you how to question, only how to memorize. Work didn't teach you how to reflect, only how to comply. And everywhere in between, entertainment taught you the golden rule. Never sit in silence. Always chase the next distraction. This is the architecture of quiet control. Not through fear, not through violence, but through design. No need to silence rebellion if the mind never learns how to rebel in the first place. Happiness is no longer about truth. It's about tuning out, staying comfortable, avoiding anything that hurt, even if that hurt was the truth itself. Now look at us. We have feeds, filters, clickbait, curated pleasure on tap, custom-made to keep you from thinking too much or feeling too deeply. Every like is a lesson, every video a shortcut, every notification a gentle nudge toward obedience, until eventually you stop sitting with your thoughts, you stop facing discomfort, you stop questioning anything that keeps you entertained. And just like that, you become exactly what the system needs you to be: calm, compliant, distracted. No one needed to take your freedom. You just stopped asking for it. And that silence of the mind, it comes with a cost. A cost we'll begin to confront in the next part. Every time you run from discomfort, you trade a piece of your strength for a moment of relief. It sounds harmless enough. A little pleasure here, a little distraction there. But over time, you start to break in places you didn't even know could crack. The truth is, comfort can weaken you, not because it's evil, but because it's addictive, because it whispers, "Why fight?" when you should be asking, "What am I becoming?" So how does a world built on pleasure create people who can't stand on their own? That's what we're discussing next. At this point, if this video is making sense to you, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for your support. Picture this, a world with no grief, no rejection, no fear. Every ache disappears before it can form into a full thought. Sounds like utopia, doesn't it? But look again. What happens to a person who never bleeds, who never fails, who never wrestles with darkness? They don't grow, they become weak. And that's the trap Huxley saw before the rest of us did. In Brave New World, the cure to all suffering was a pill. No withdrawal, no danger, just bliss on demand. But here's the cost. No one learned how to feel anything deeper than surface-level pleasure. Sadness? Numb it. Restlessness? Distract it. Curiosity? Replace it with consumption. People didn't face life. They escaped it. And anything that couldn't be dulled or digitized, it was called a threat. Look around. We may not have soma, but we have our own fixes. Likes and shares for quick validation. Swipe apps that shield us from rejection. Algorithms that predict our desires before we do. Everything designed to keep us comfortable. But avoiding discomfort weakens us, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. And in that trade, you become easier to guide, easier to shape, easier to own. But here's the thing no one wants to admit. Pain isn't the enemy. It's the mentor. It breaks us down so we can rebuild. It sharpens us, tests us, and turns fragility into grit. But what happens when pain is removed from the equation? What happens when every rough edge is padded, every discomfort numbed? You get a generation that flinches at inconvenience, that crumbles under minor setbacks, that seeks escape the moment things get heavy, because we've been trained not to endure but to evade. And that training, it doesn't just make us soft, it makes us controllable. See, a society full of people who can sit with discomfort, who can wrestle with their demons and still stand tall. That's a society you can't easily manipulate. Questions. It resists. It grows. But a society built on emotional anesthesia, on instant rewards and shallow highs, that's a society already in chains. Not the kind you wear on your wrists, the kind you never see, because they're woven into your desires. That's the real trap, not a cage with bars, but a world where the absence of struggle is the prison. And the key to getting out? It starts with a question. Are you chasing comfort, or are you searching for meaning? Because comfort can numb you, but meaning wakes you up. And that's what we'll explore next. What are you actually chasing? Is it happiness, or is it meaning, pleasure, or purpose? At first, the answer might feel obvious. But slow down for a second. Have you really thought about it? Because if you look at the world around you, the message is loud and constant. Be happy. Feel good. Escape discomfort. But what does happiness even mean in this version of life? A loop of short-lived highs, scrolls, clicks, quick buys, cheap thrills, sex, junk food for the soul. Pleasure that hits fast and fades faster. You feel full for a second, and then the emptiness comes back. So you reach again and again, until you forget what real fulfillment even feels like. Now pause. Think back to the moments that shaped you most. The real ones. Were they easy? Were they pleasurable? Or were they hard? Uncomfortable? Even painful? See, it's in those moments of effort, of endurance, of pushing through, that something inside you grew. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, wrote in Man's Search for Meaning that human beings cannot live without purpose. He observed that even in the worst possible scenarios, those who found a greater meaning in their lives were the ones who managed to survive and maintain their sanity. Because here's the paradox no one talks about. The more you chase pleasure, the weaker you get. The more you build purpose, the stronger you become. Pleasure is easy. It asks nothing from you. But purpose demands your time, your grit, your attention. And that's why the system doesn't want you to chase it. A person with purpose is harder to distract, harder to fool, harder to sell to. They don't need constant stimulation. They're not addicted to the next hit of validation. And that makes them dangerous to a culture that profits off your cravings, to a system that survives by keeping you comfortably numb. So if you've been feeling that something's missing, maybe it's not because you haven't found enough pleasure. Maybe it's because you've been avoiding the one thing that actually matters: purpose. Now that you've seen it, that quiet trap disguised as pleasure, there's only one question left. How do you escape? How do you reclaim your mind in a world built to distract it? Let's be real with each other. This isn't a simple fix. You're not just breaking a habit. You're pushing back against a system designed to keep you numb. It wants your attention. It feeds on your impulses. There is a way out, and it starts the moment you decide to see the game for what it is. The first move? Take control of your cravings. Not by cutting off all pleasure, not by going monk mode and rejecting the world, but by choosing what you consume and when you consume it. Start with the obvious ones: social media, processed dopamine bombs, mindless binge watching. Pull back. Not forever, just long enough to remind your brain what real satisfaction feels like. That's step 1. Step 2, get comfortable being uncomfortable. You've been trained to panic at boredom, to escape silence, to fill every moment with noise. But here's what they never told you. Stillness isn't a threat. It's a muscle. And the more you flex it, the stronger you get. So give yourself space. Let the silence stretch. Let the boredom hit. Let your mind wander without immediately reeling it back with a screen. Yeah, it'll feel weird at first. Your brain will beg for a hit. But if you hold the line, something shifts. You stop running. You start facing. And you realize discomfort doesn't break you. It rebuilds you. See, I want you to understand this. No one has ever built anything worthwhile in noise and constant distractions. It's not easy. It's not glamorous. But it's the step toward freedom. Because the moment you stop letting the world decide how you feel, that's when you take your mind back. And that's when the real change begins. Here's the next step in breaking free, and it might be the most uncomfortable one yet. Start questioning everything. Not just the system, not just the media. Start with yourself. Why do you keep reaching for distraction the second things go quiet? Why is silence so unbearable? And more importantly, who profits from your inability to sit still? Because the truth is, most of your habits, you didn't choose them. They were installed. One notification at a time. Just one more episode at a time. Until your desires weren't really yours anymore. And the only way to take them back is to start asking. Because questions, real questions, don't just poke holes in the system. They burn it down. And that leads to the next step. Replace pleasure with purpose. Ask yourself, what am I actually building here? What do I want my life to mean? What would make all this discomfort worth it? They're not easy questions, but they're the only ones that matter. Because once you have purpose, real purpose, you stop chasing distractions. You stop needing constant validation. You stop running from the silence. If you've made it this far, it means something inside you is awake. You're not just consuming, you're reflecting. So I want you to do something simple but powerful. Drop this in the comments right now. Today, I choose awareness over autopilot. Let that be your affirmation, your first step toward reclaiming your mind. And if this message hit deep, like the video, share it, subscribe. Because here we don't sugarcoat, we speak truth. And truth is what sets you free.